If you experience lower back pain, grab your mat. You're going to want to do this practice with me. Chances are highly likely that your hips are tight and weak, and that's what's causing the lower back pain. And the reason I say this is because most of us have jobs that have us sitting or standing on concrete or some other really hard surface, or a combination of both. For me, it's a little bit of both. There's so many things that we can do to interrupt that pattern, that posture pattern, okay? And bring some health and stability back into our bodies. So this practice today that I'm going to share with you is really about building hip strength and flexibility and releasing lower back tension. But one of the key things that I want you to do with this practice is I want you to listen to your body. I want you to listen for the difference between discomfort and pain. Okay, so when I'm asking you to put more effort or to activate a muscle group or to activate a certain pose, I want you to do it, and you are going to feel something. You are going to feel more tension in that body part at that moment. I want you to listen to your body. Is this discomfort or is this pain? If it is pain, I want you to ease out. If it is discomfort, I like to call that your growing edge. And when you're at your growing edge, that means that you're pushing a little bit beyond what's comfortable, okay? And you are the only one who can tell you what that is, all right? I'm not in your body. I can't tell you what that is. But you need to listen to your body and decide for yourself. Is this my growing edge? Am I okay here? Am I safe here? Because when you're breathing, inhale and exhale, you are sending messages to your body that this is okay and that you are safe. If you are panicking and your breath is short and you are uncomfortable and you are experiencing pain, that is a clear sign that you are beyond your growing edge and you are entering in danger zone, and that's going to cause you to get injured, okay? So I want you to back out. Growing edge, tap, little discomfort, but I can handle this. I got this. I can breathe through this. You're good. All right. So I say this a lot, but this is really what it is. This is the yoga, is finding where I am growing. All right. And sometimes it's just all about releasing. So that's the other cool thing about this practice, is there is going to be releasing where we're using our breath to release tension in our body. Okay. And both are necessary for healing and growth. The other thing that I want to say is, although I am sharing this video as a support for people with lower back pain, if you are in the process or you are experiencing an adverse situation right now with lower back pain, meaning that you are actually actively in pain, okay, that you're not just like a little achy and this is getting annoying, but you are like, okay, I have to, when I go from sitting to standing, I need to brace myself, or I need to really, anything like that. You're not ready for this practice. Give yourself more time. I suggest you rest. I suggest you look at massage, gentle stretching, but not even that right now. If you are taking medicine to be okay, then this is probably something that can wait until once the pain cycle is interrupted. So as someone who has experienced chronic pain in their life with I had a C-spine injury for a while, and it drastically decreased mobility in my upper body, and especially in my neck. I'm always like, back out, listen to your body. Don't overdo it. There's no need for it. We're trying to do this and build this practice for longevity, right? Not to reach some momentous pose or something like that. So enough of the talking. Let's get into it. Come to a seated position. I'm sitting on a big juicy pillow. I want you to be comfortable right now. There is no need for stress. If you don't have a big pillow, you can use a yoga block. Perfect thing to sit on. Trying to stay very comfortable for now. Move your blocks out of the way so that you have enough room to move and twist and stretch, okay? Take a deep cleansing breath. As we sit here and collect and gather ourselves, I want you to imagine your mind like a big paintbrush and do a body scan where you're just kind of gently brushing through the body and discovering any areas of tension, any areas of discomfort, and just bring your awareness to it. You don't need to judge it. You don't need to fix it unless you need to fix it. But listen to it. Listen to what it's saying to you. Part of this practice is coming into the body and co-creating with the body as opposed to working against the body. So listen to what your body is telling you in this moment. Maybe you feel the weight of your legs on your ankles, or maybe you feel a little aching in your low back because of your hips and sitting in this position, which we don't often sit in. Take another deep breath. Arms up overhead, gaze at your fingertips. Bring your right hand down, kind of behind your hips, and I want you to press and stretch all the way into your fingertips of your left hand. Gaze up at the ceiling. Anchor your left hip down and stretch through the fingertips. Inhale up, bring your left hand down and your right hand over. Press into your right hip, bend into your left elbow. Really lift your chest and feel that stretch. Good, and come back to center. This time I want you to lift both arms up overhead, gaze at your fingertips, open up to the right side. Just press the back of your right hand to the back of your right thigh. Oh, that's the left hand. Press the back of your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Bring your right hand behind you and gaze over your shoulders. Inhale and exhale. We're gonna lift that whole thing up and turn to the left side. So your right hand is on the outside of your left thigh. Don't want you grabbing, okay? I want you to just let your body soften into it. Work its own self into it. Gaze over your left shoulder. Bring your arms back up overhead and fold forward. And seated forward fold, allow your lower back to release, maybe even drop your elbows and let your head dangle. Send a signal to your body through relaxed, soothing breath that you're safe and supported and listening. Lift up your head, crawl your hands back. Good job. Now, we're going to release or remove this chunky pillow. Oh! Ah! Okay. That was a little too much releasing of the chunky pillow. Okay, cool. Come into a tabletop position. Knees under your hips, wrists under shoulders. We're gonna start with cat-cow. Gaze forward, arch the back, arch all the way through the hips. I feel like sometimes we only go halfway. We're like, I want you to really articulate the tilt of your pelvis so that you really feel that, and press your chest forward and then gaze forward. Inhale, exhale, and now we're gonna come in, gazing at the navel and stretching and pushing through our shoulders and finding that openness in our back body. Release that lower back and come back down. Press press up and through. One more time, one more cycle. Gaze up, press that chest forward, articulate that back body, and then we're going to release it all the way in, gazing at the navel. And while we're here, take our hands, walk them forward. We're going to extend into puppy pose. Press your chest, nose, forehead down to your mat. Lift up your head and walk your hands back. Good. Take your feet and you're going to bring your feet up. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So your feet are as wide as the edges of your mat. Take your creases of your thumbs and press them in the creases of your elbows. And let your head dangle. Let your body hang from the hips. And give yourself a sort of traction. The weight of your elbows and your arms are dragging and weighing you down so that you can release that lower back. Keep that bend in your knees. And breathe. And from here, you can play around with extending and bending the opposite leg so you can swing around a little bit. And then come to center. Take your right hand, place your right hand between your right and left foot, and sweep your left hand open, gazing at your fingertips. You're going to take a deeper bend in your right and extend your left. That same movement, we're just applying it differently. Replace your left hand with your right and gaze up at your right fingertips. One more time, both sides. We're going to start with our left and then sweep down, open up in the right. From here, we're going to take Malasana. We're in a nice wide open stretch. I have big hips, so I need this openness. You take it however you need to take it, but if you're like me and you need that space, keep your heels at the edges of your mat and then pop off. I like to pop off the balls of my feet and my toes off my mat, and that gives me a solid foundation to come directly into my Malasana. Bring your palms together and extend all the way from your sacrum through the crown of your head. And press through with the backs of your elbows pressed into the inner pieces of your knees. And breathe. Lovely. From here, release your palms just a little bit. We're going to squinch all the way down till our butts come to our mats, and we're going to come into our bridge position. Scoot your hips forward so you have enough space. I like to keep my heels at what I call grazing distance. And yes, you are going to need your block. We're going to come into a supported bridge. So take your feet hip distance apart. You should be able to graze the heel, hence the grazing distance. Graze the heels of your feet with your fingertips, okay? And you can just take a couple of rounds pressing through. I always like to anchor my shoulder blades behind my chest. I have really challenging posture, so I hunch a lot, and so this is hence the yoga, which is why I practice yoga in the first place. And then you're going to grab your block. I want you to find your sacrum. So I said sacrum when we were in Malasana. Sacrum is this flat platelet. It's like the bottom, the base of your spine, and it's kind of flat. It doesn't have a lot of joints or movement or anything to it. It's just kind of like a pancake thing. And it's usually right between the arc or the curvature of the top of the buttocks. So I want you to anchor that down onto your block. Okay, and so now you can see that I'm sitting in a supported bridge. I'm not putting any effort into being in this bridge pose. Now, this is great if you want to stay here. I want to take it a little deeper, so I'm going to change the height of my block. So I'm going to lift up again, lift up my hips, and then place it right back down. Find that little sacrum spot. Yes, it's harder to find when you have a big butt, and that's okay. We're just going to move that meat out of the way and get the sacrum on top of the block. There we go. Now you should be in a very, very supported bridge. If there's any adjustments, make them now. All right, here we go. I want you to take your right leg and extend it all the way out, stretch through the toes, and then place your heel on your mat and just let basically your hip joint just open up on that right side. This is one of my favorite poses. Essentially what we're doing is we're releasing the tension in our psoas muscle. And the psoas is a huge muscle. It starts off on the thigh and ends up on the butt somewhere and is responsible for all the walking and movement that we do. And as you can see, unless you're doing this, you're probably not targeting or releasing tension in that psoas. So this is a wonderful position to be in to find softening and release there. And that is literally what keeps us, keeps our mobility, keeps us moving. So this is one of my favorite poses. Just soften into that openness. Feel supported. I want you to feel the support that you have. This is almost like cradling. I always feel cradled when I'm in this position. Cradled by the floor, the support of the floor, and the support of the block on my hips. Bring your right foot down, back into grazing distance. Oop, there we go. Grazing distance of your fingertips, and extend through the left toes. Place that heel down on your mat and release and soften. Feels so good. Okay, bring that heel back up to grazing distance and press into your heels, lifting your hips, and press right back down. There you go. And take your block, you can set it, oh, where's that? There you go. Move it out of the way so it's not bothering you anymore. Okay, now we're gonna come into our happy baby. Happy baby is something that I always have to work my way into. It feels so good when I'm there, but it's not the easiest thing for me to get into. Again, butt problems. Yes, I have a big butt. But I need to bring my knee into my chest, flatten the back of my spine. So you know when you're just kind of sitting here, I can pass my hand beneath my lower back. I want to remove that space. And so that's one of the things that, because of my standing posture, that's one of the areas where I do carry a lot of tension. So I bring one knee up at a time, bring my other one up. Okay, there. Now I have removed all of that space from the sacrum, so my whole entire back is being supported by the ground. That's exactly what you want. Okay, grab your hands and grab the edges of the soles of your feet, so the outer edges. So it's kind of like you're gonna, I don't know, stretch out your legs, okay? I want you to bring your feet so that the soles of your feet are pointing up at the ceiling. Essentially what we're in is a reclining malasana. You remember our malasana pose, our yogi squat? We're essentially in the same position with our heels up in the air, okay? I want you to put a little bit of pressure using your right hand, the strength of your right hand, and pull your knee towards your armpit on one side, and then release. And then we're gonna do it on the other side. I'm kind of counting to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, and now you should have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more space in this happy baby. Okay. And just take some rocks from side to side, just relaxing, releasing. Even if for your rocks, you can use that same pressure. Press one knee towards the armpit and then release it, then take the other one in, and it kind of makes you rock a little bit more and massages your spine. It feels really good. Okay. And then I want you to release your left leg first. Okay, so we're gonna release our left leg. It should still be at grazing distance where your fingertips can touch your heels. And then take your right ankle and cross it over the top of your left knee. Okay, so we're in a reclining pigeon. I want you to I like to do this. This is my way of getting into reclining pigeon. Sometimes it can be a little tricky. But I like to extend my left leg or my opposite leg, the unbent leg, okay? And then I place my hands and clasp behind my thighs. And I just do a couple of pulses in, just rocking in, really activates and stretches this back of my thigh here, okay? So you're just gonna take a couple of rocks in there and maybe even some ankle circles. So I like to circle my ankle round and around to both directions, and then I get into my reclining pigeon. Okay, so you can keep your hands right here, or you can grab the tops of your shins and pull in and find an even deeper stretch in the back of that right thigh. But that's not all. Okay, so we're gonna hold that for just a second longer, and then I want you to release your shin or your thigh and bring your heel back down to your mat. Okay, this is where the magic happens. We're gonna come into a twist. So I want you to take your right hand or your left hand and just place it on your ankle, no grabbing necessary, and then twist everything over to the side, so that now the sole of your right foot is pressing into the floor, the knee of your left leg is pressing into the floor, and you can extend your right arm out and just gaze at your fingertips. And breathe in a nice, juicy twist. You want another sensation, take your right hand or your left hand and press it into your hip crease. And give yourself a little bit more openness there. That feels really, really good. I always feel a lot of openness right here. Feels so nice. Okay, release and come back to center. Place the heel down. We're gonna release this one and go in for that opposite side. All right, so take your left ankle and cross it over your right knee, right? And now we're gonna grab the back of our right foot or right leg and do some circles with our ankles. Okay, good. Bring that knee in, grab your shin or your thigh, and you can rock into it if you want, or you can hold it static and steady. This choice is yours. There's no one way. Just try to relax and breathe into any tension that you feel. That's the key. Okay, drop your right foot back down to your mat. And again, we're gonna open up that right thigh, bring our left foot back down to the ground and twist. Always gaze into the finger of the opposite hand when you twist. It helps to keep your twist open, helps keep the body focused on what the mission is. Okay, your lower body is doing one thing, your upper body is doing the other, supported by looking and seeing the effort that your body's putting in. Take your heel of your hand and you can go in that crease and press into that upper thigh and breathe. Just release all that stress and strain in your lower back. It's one of my favorite twisting positions, actually. Release your hand. You're gonna pop back up to center. I keep saying pop. Nobody's popping. I don't know why I say that all the time. Twist that ankle one last time. Bring your heels back down. So now for our shavasana, we're gonna take a modified shavasana. This practice is not so long, but I do like to rest at the end of all of my practices. So I want you to press into your heels, lift up those hips. If you had it on the higher level last time, I want you to use the lower level. If you're on the lower level, stay right there, okay? And press that, make sure you're comfortable and fully supported in that, with your sacrum on your flat on your block. Okay, so I want your sacrum kind of flat on your block, and extend your legs out one at a time. First the right leg and then the left leg, and then open your arms. Allow your body to just drape across your block and drape onto the earth. And do another body scan. Maybe bring out that mental paintbrush and paint over every surface of your body, and just bring awareness to whatever sensation you're feeling. And where you find tension, either release it or just soften it. I always think of softening as the first step to releasing. Sometimes our bodies aren't ready to release, but we can soften where we can't release. You can also bring the soles of your feet together in a supported Baddha Konasana. And just let your knees drape open. Bring the soles of your feet back to your mat. Press into the heels. Remove your block. And press the back flat. And extend your legs open into full shavasana. And just breathe. Stay here for as long as you'd like. When you're ready to come out, you'll take your left leg, bring it up to grazing distance, and turn to your hip, to your right hip. Bring your hands over. And reacquaint yourself with your environment. And blink your eyes open. Use your hand to press back up to seated position. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. Hopefully you found a lot of release and a lot of softening in your lower back, and I hope to see you here next week. Bye.